Stay back, boy. This calls for divine intervention. I kick up for the Lord. God's love is going on here.
Historically low gas prices, a boy band for every block, and Philips, CDI, and Pogs. I mean, maybe we just had it too good during the 90s because audiences weren't flocking much to horror movies this decade. The first half of this decade was notoriously rough for the horror genre, as diminishing production value, lost craft, and sequel blow buried the genre. Jason, Michael, and Freddy all got canceled, with only Wes Craven's New Nightmare getting good enough reviews to show up on this list. Even more, New Nightmares' postmodern meta-story would pave the way for Craven's own Scream, which would revive horror leading into the 21st century.
What do you want?
I want you. It's showtime.
Then why don't you show your face, you f***ing coward?
My pleasure.
Other highlights from this era in horror movies include the only one to ever win Best Picture, the rise of Peter Jackson and Guillermo del Toro, sophisticated adult fare, and winking B-movie mashups. For this list, we've included titles with at least 10 reviews, and according to their score and average review, are ranked by Adjusted Tomato Meter. Like A Kiss from a Rose or A Rotting Vegetable, we're counting down the best 1990s horror movies. Starting with number 10, Scream 2. Sydney and tabloid reporter Gail Weathers survived the events of the first Scream, but their nightmare isn't over. When two college students are murdered at a sneak preview of Stab, a movie based on the events from the first film, it's clear that a copycat killer is on the loose. Sydney and Gail, as well as fellow survivors Deputy Dewey and Randy, have to find out who is behind the new murder spree before they all end up dead. Starring David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and directed by Wes Craven. Critics say, as with the first film, Scream 2 is a gleeful takedown of scary movie conventions that manages to poke fun at terrible horror sequels without falling victim to the same fate. Number 9, The Blair Witch Project. Found video footage tells the tale of 3 film students who have traveled to a small town to collect documentary footage about the Blair Witch, a legendary local murderer. Now, over the course of several days, the students interview townspeople and gather clues to support the tale's veracity. But the project takes a frightening turn when the students lose their way in the woods and begin hearing horrific noises. Starring Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, Joshua Leonard, and directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Critics say full of creepy campfire scares, Mock Doc The Blair Witch Project keeps audiences in the dark about its titular villain, proving once more that imagination can be as scary as anything on screen.
This is not the way to get out of here. I think it's safe to say at this point that we're lost. I don't know what to do.
I think we should all get inside the tent.
Alright.
Let's not light a fire tonight.
Yeah.
Because 2 nights in a row we've
probably
lit a
a good
fire.
idea.
We didn't light one the first night,
And nothing happened.
and nothing happened. We light fires, they know. I haven't heard anything follow us. We should even turn that light off, too.
Alright.
Anything that's going to attract attention to us at this point.
Okay.
Number 8, Tremors. Repairman Val McKee and Earl Bassett are tired of their dull lives in the small desert town of Perfection, Nev. But just as the two try to skip town, they happen upon a series of mysterious deaths and a concerned seismologist studying unnatural readings below the ground. Now, with the help of an eccentric couple, the group fights for survival against giant worm-like monsters hungry for human flesh. Starring Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Finn Carter, and directed by Ron Underwood. Critics say an affectionate throwback to 1950s creature features, Tremors reinvigorates its genre tropes with a finely balanced combination of horror and humor.
Broke into the wrong rec room, didn't you, you b****?
Number 7, Dead Alive. Overprotective mother Vera Cosgrove, spying on her grown son Lionel as he visits the zoo with the lovely Paquita, is accidentally bitten by the fearsome Sumatran rat monkey. When the bite turns his beloved mother into a zombie, Lionel tries to keep her locked safely in the basement, but her repeated escapes turn most of the neighbors into the Walking Dead, who then crash a high society party thrown by Lionel's boorish Uncle Les. Starring Timothy Baum, Diana Peñalver, Elizabeth Moody, and directed by Peter Jackson. Critics say the delightfully gonzo tale of a love-struck teen and his zombified mother, Dead Alive is extremely gory and exceedingly good fun thanks to Peter Jackson's affection for the tastelessly sublime.
Hyperactive.
Number 6, Chronos. Antique dealer Jesus Gris stumbles across Chronos, a 400-year-old scarab that, when it latches onto him, grants him youth and eternal life, but also a thirst for blood. As Jesus enjoys his newfound vitality, he's unaware that a dying old man, Dieter de la Guardia, has sent his nephew, Angel, to find the scarab and bring it back to him. But Jesus will not give immortality up easily, even risking the life of his orphan granddaughter. Starring Federico Lupi, Ron Perlman, Claudio Brook, and directed by Guillermo del Toro. Critics say Guillermo del Toro's unique feature debut, Chronos, is not only gory and stylish, but also charming and intelligent.
Come here, precious. Ven acá.
Ángel!
¿Qué se necesita para matarlo? Tú pierdes más que yo. Lo mío es nada más dolor. Well, get ready for some more. What the?
Number 5, Misery. After a serious car crash, novelist Paul Sheldon is rescued by former nurse Annie Wilkes, who claims to be his biggest fan. Annie brings him to her remote cabin to recover, where her obsession takes a dark turn when she discovers that Sheldon is killing off her favorite characters from his novels. As Sheldon devises plans for escape, Annie grows increasingly controlling, even violent, as she forces the author to shape his writing to suit her twisted fantasies. Starring James Caan, Kathy Bates, Frances Sternhagen, and directed by Rob Reiner. Critics say, elevated by standout performances from James Caan and Kathy Bates, Misery is one of the best Stephen King adaptations to date.
She died. She just slipped away.
Slipped away! Slipped away! She didn't just slip away! You did it! 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 You murdered my Misery!
Annie!
I thought you were good, Paul. But you're not good. You're just another lying old dirty birdie. And I don't think I better be around you for a while.
And don't even think about anybody coming for you. Not the doctors, not your agent, not your family. Because I never called them. Nobody knows you're here. And you better hope nothing happens to me. Because if I die, you die.
Number 4, Arachnophobia. After a nature photographer dies on assignment in Venezuela, a poisonous spider hitches a ride in his coffin to his hometown in rural California, where arachnophobe Dr. Ross Jennings has just moved in with his wife Molly and young son. How convenient. As town residents start turning up dead, Jennings begins to suspect spiders and must face his fears as he and no-nonsense exterminator Delbert McClintock fight to stop a deadly infestation. Starring Jeff Daniels, Harley Jane Kozak, John Goodman, and directed by Frank Marshall. Critics say Arachnophobia may not deliver genuine chills, but it's an affectionate, solidly built tribute to Hollywood's classic creature features.
Nice shot. Thank God.
Don't mention it.
Number 3, Ring. When her niece is found dead, along with 3 friends after viewing a supposedly cursed videotape, reporter Rieko Asakawa sets out to investigate. Along with her ex-husband Ryuji, Rieko finds the tape, watches it, and promptly receives a phone call informing her that she'll die in a week. Determined to get to the bottom of the curse, Rieko and Ryuji discover the video's origin and attempt to solve an old murder that could break the spell. Starring Nanako Matsushima, Hiroyuki Sanada, Miki Nakatani, and directed by Hideo Nakata. Critics say Ring combines supernatural elements with anxieties about modern technology in a truly frightening and unnerving way. Number 2, The Sixth Sense. Young Cole Sear is haunted by a dark secret. He's visited by ghosts. Cole is frightened by visitations from those with unresolved problems who appear from the shadows. He's too afraid to tell anyone about his anguish, except child psychologist Dr. Malcolm Crowe. As Dr. Crowe tries to uncover the truth about Cole's supernatural abilities, the consequences for client and therapist are a jolt that awakens them both to something unexplainable. Starring Bruce Willis, Haley Joel Osment, Toni Collette, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Critics say M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense is a twisty ghost story with all the style of a classical Hollywood picture, but all the chills of a modern horror flick. And before we reveal number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Sleepy Hollow. Set in 1799, Sleepy Hollow is based on Washington Irving's classic tale, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Faithful to the dreamy custom-bound world that Irving paints in his story, the film mixes horror, fantasy, and romance, and features an extraordinary cast of characters that dabble in the supernatural. Starring Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Miranda Richardson, and directed by Tim Burton. Critics say it isn't Tim Burton's best work, but Sleepy Hollow entertains with its stunning visuals and creepy atmosphere. Scream. The sleepy little town of Woodsboro just woke up screaming. There's a killer in their midst who's seen a few too many scary movies. Suddenly, nobody is safe as the psychopath stalks victims, taunts them with trivia questions, then rips them to bloody shreds. It could be anybody. Starring Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and directed by Wes Craven. Critics say horror icon Wes Craven's subversive deconstruction of the genre, Scream is a sly, witty, and surprisingly effective as a slasher film itself, even if it's a little too cheeky for some.
door's locked. I heard screaming. You all right?
The killer's here. He's in the house. No, he's in the house. He's gonna kill him.
He's gone. He's gone. It's all right. Said what? Whoa, wait! Sydney, wait! Hold on! Sydney, come back!
Audition. This disturbing Japanese thriller follows Aoyama, a widower who decides to start dating again. Aided by a film producer friend, Aoyama uses auditions for a fake production to function as a dating service. When Aoyama becomes intrigued by the withdrawn, gorgeous Asami, they begin a relationship. However, he begins to realize that Asami isn't as reserved as she appears to be, leading to gradually increased tension and a harrowing climax. Starring Ryo Ishibashi, Ai Hishina, Jun Kunimura, and directed by Takashi Miki. Critics say an audacious, unsettling Japanese horror film from director Takashi Miki, Audition entertains as both a grisly shocker and a psychological drama.
指が3本と耳が1つと確か舌も1枚多かったみたいですよ。
And finally, number 1, The Silence of the Lambs. Jodie Foster stars as Clarice Starling, a top student at the FBI's training academy. Jack Crawford wants Clarice to interview Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a brilliant psychiatrist who is also a violent psychopath, serving life behind bars for various acts of murder and cannibalism. Crawford believes that Lecter may have insight into a case and that Clarice, as an attractive young woman, may be just the bait to draw him out. Starring Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Scott Glenn, and directed by Jonathan Demme. Critics say Jonathan Demme's smart, taut thriller, The Silence of the Lambs, teeters on the edge between psychological study and all-out horror, and benefits greatly from stellar performances by Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, you will, precious. You will get the hose.
Okay. Mister, if you let me go, I won't press charges, I promise. See, my mom is a real important woman. I guess you already know that.
Now it places the lotion in the basket.
Please. I want to go home, please.
It places the lotion in the basket.
I want to see my mommy. Please, no. I want to see my... I want to see my...
What's the lotion in the basket?
Well, my friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content that you love. Until next time, I am your host, Naz Perez, and we will see you back here for more top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown.